Okay, next thing I think is important is hiring, yes, sir.
I was just curious, you didn't mention asbestos under
Oh.
those hazards. I was wondering why.
I
Is that
hate
not
asbestos.
Yeah.
Because I forgot.
Oh, okay.
But let's talk about it, because asbestos is in basically 3 areas in Ohio, and probably in most areas. Back in the day, asbestos was used to seal the ductwork. There was, instead of duct tape, they used an asbestos tape. So today, the proper way to abate that is you can buy cans of spray paint, cans of spray that you can seal that asbestos and then cover it with the foil duct tape, not the sticky kind, because they say that if it got pulled off, would also pull the asbestos. So you encapsulate it so that it doesn't become friable. Don't I sound like an expert? You only have one of these incidents until you get very educated. And the second place we find it is on roofs and siding. And in our old historic neighborhoods, we have a lot of roofs that look suspiciously like clay tile or ceramic tile or slate. But in just about every one of them, there's asbestos hiding. And they're the square tiles. And we know that because we took one off. And we found that, the health department visited us and the state EPA visited us, and we learned a lot about asbestos that week. And my husband actually has, we call him, he has a misdemeanor charge against him because we didn't take off the roof properly. And what the EPA says is that if you're removing any of those friable items, they have to be wet, you have to be in an encapsulated suit, and there can be no more than the size of a pea on the ground. So if you can imagine, when we took the roof off, there were 20 of us crawling through the grass on our hands and knees to not have an EPA event at the property. And this was, again, quite a while ago. I learned my lessons painfully, and I don't want you to. Yes, ma'am.
Bought a property that was rehabbed and is old, 1900s in the East Coast. And I got the occupancy permit.
Yes.
And I believe with that, everything's been approved or passed by is that true or?
Well, when being approved or passed doesn't mean that it's not there, because asbestos is only a problem if it breaks and becomes friable. It's when it's friable that you breathe it that it becomes damaging to you, and then you really don't know for probably another 50 years. So it depends on each community is going to have a guideline on whether that in a rehabbed house is okay. In our neighborhood, those roofs, that siding, our county doesn't say that you can't have it, but what they do say is if you're going to remove it, you have to follow very strict protocols. So if you have a house that has it, you just need to plan the removal of it when it becomes absolutely necessary. It is of no danger unless you're breaking it.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing.
Do you know whether it has asbestos siding or roofing?
But
Your home inspection should answer that question for you, because it should be in your home inspection, because they're going to say, and my tag that I get all the time is it's also in the floor tiles. If you think about those old tiles that were in our schools, for those of you that are my age, we all had asbestos floor tiles. But it's the exact same thing. They're not an issue unless they're broken and become friable. We seal them with a heavy wax. As long as they're not peeling or moving, we don't touch them, because touching them is what makes them dangerous. Make sense? Sorry, thanks.